No, I'm not making coffee again. I already made it. It's right here. Why is my screen all white? It's very strange. Something's going on with my screen here. It's the AI bugs. They're coming to distract me from all the things that we're trying to do here. And by the way, I do believe that AI is getting to the point where it can disrupt in real time and censor and algorithmically demote you and shadow ban. It's going to be all in real time. You know, once they decide that you're not worthy to be seen, they can do that very easily. Or send a few drones to your house. Say you're Antifa or something. You're Antifa. But hey, there's a lot going on, guys. A lot is happening right now. And it's an anticipation like that Heinz ketchup commercial. I feel like I'm anticipating the chaos that's about to break out all over America. Now, Trump was asked today what he thought about the EBT SNAP program chaos that's looming, and he said he would have a fix for it, but he didn't say what. Is he going to fix it at the last minute? Because that will make him look kind of weak, like he caved, like he didn't have the ability to not only inform the American people on what's happening, because it's not just about people that don't have and are terrified of the fact that they might not be able to eat, but it's also worrisome to those who will be affected by those who might riot and cause general mayhem. I mean, we've already got people here in our local area, not too far, that just Spokane, Washington, for instance, state of emergency. They're calling for states of emergency all over the country in many cities and states, state of emergency. Why hasn't Trump addressed this? Why hasn't he said anything about it? Why did he want to push it to this point? If he is going to resolve it at the last minute, or is he? Is he going to literally push it over the edge? Is this a big, 3D chess move? I mean, look what he's done with. I'm not sure if it was Ford Corporation, or he told China that there was going to be all this investment. And he said that he made a deal already with, I think it was Ford, if I'm not mistaken. Said $10 billion. Don't get my quote specific, but it was somewhere in the vicinity of a promise that it was been made to him, that he publicly made known during a press conference, I think it was. Well, I think it was Ford ended up calling and making a statement saying, we never even talked to Trump. We don't even know what he's talking about. We never said that we were going to do that. And Trump does this. It's often that he does this. There's been countries that have said, we don't have no deal. We haven't been talking with him. We don't even know what he's talking about. He's just making statements off the cuff that aren't even legit. We don't even, our State Departments, our military, nobody knows what he's talking about. He's just making it up as he goes. I mean, for the purpose of what? Putting out an image so that it makes it look like he's doing something, so everybody gets a good feeling. He doesn't really care that it's not matching what he's actually doing. I guess reality doesn't really matter to people, that he's lying. I guess people would rather believe lies. So is he even telling us the truth about this being fixed? Is he giving a false sense of peace so that kick the can down to the very last moment before all hell breaks loose? I mean, because that's the kind of feeling I'm getting, is that they're pushing all of these different things as far as they can to the very brink. And then everything is going to be timed to collapse all at once. It's like a controlled demolition. You got one set going off, another set, and eventually the whole thing just implodes on it in its own footprint. Kind of like Building 7. Kaboom, 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 kaboom. It just falls into its own footprint. We're going to go through some of the news right now. There's a lot of news going on right now. We're just going to kind of touch on the main points here. I really have no idea what's going on with my computer here. What is going on here? It's like all It's like going bright and then dark. What is happening? All right, so let's go through some of the things that are happening right now. I know that the anticipation of what's going to be hitting every city in the United States that receives, large portions of our country. I mean, we're talking about 42 million people that are on government assistance. 42 million people? How many million people are in America? I think there's like 360 million, round about there. It's 360 million people. So you're talking about a very large percentage of Americans are dependent on government assistance. So when you talk about that being shut completely off and they're going to try to blame each other, the Democrats are going to try to make political hay out of this, and then the Republicans are going to be doing the same thing and saying it's the Democrats' fault, and then we're just witnessing the bloodletting of the division that ultimately leads to political violence, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to see political violence. And it's not just political violence, but you're going to see general mayhem, rioting, looting, martial law. If this doesn't get resolved in the next 2 or 3 days, that's what you can expect. You better go grocery shopping now. I've told you guys already, and I've been warning people for a little while now, that it's almost up. Time is almost up. You better get all the, you should have gotten everything already prepared. Everything should have already been done, weeks and months ago. It's too late now to really prepare unless you just really have a lot of money to just spend on things that you need. I would say stock up on essentials and non-perishables and get as much food as you can to weather whatever storm may be coming, because there may be outages. I mean, we're seeing another cyber attack this morning. Did you see that? Another massive cyber attack that affected the whole, internet. I mean, it was AWS once again, Amazon Web Services, and it affected all kinds of websites were affected. So you have to wonder what's really going on behind the scenes. I would say, what is really going on behind the scenes here? I know it's a late night. I just wanted to usually the late night hangouts, I just kind of laid back. It's not anything major, formal, but we've got a lot more people that are now showing up from the other channels. And so we just want to kind of keep a steady flow of information that we usually post on our Telegram page, but sometimes people don't have Telegram. So we want to put it out there on YouTube anyway, because people like to see it. People want to see the information in a flow. And that's kind of what we do here. So that's what we're going to do. I just want to say hello to everybody in the chat. Vape King, Tio, Toasted, Toasted. Cindy Paul, Hit Gal, Renee, I see you in the house. Candace and all the members, Lori, Ralph, all the members, MTM, God bless. Daughter of the King, Maria Plush. All the members are in the house. Give it up for the members, those who are supporting what we do here on a daily basis. For all of you guys that stand behind what we do, I appreciate you. And then we've got Prism in the house. We've got Jerry, Cindy Paul, as I said. Pamela Johnson, good to see you, Pamela. And Rhonda. Well, we're going to get into the news. Let's get into that and see what's going on here. Some of this I haven't really looked at myself, but I know I've just kind of briefly looked at some of this information, but it is pretty troubling. Now, Trump just made a statement about testing nukes out of the blue. What the heck? What's that all about? Testing nukes out of the blue. And what is this? Let's see what they're saying here. They're saying it's getting worse and looting and more. Now, there's been a lot of protesting going on for a little bit now, but I think we're about to see the protesting going into a kinetic, confrontations with law enforcement, government troops. What are they? The march? They're not the march. What are they? National Guard, possibly even the military, because Trump did threaten to bring military onto the streets. But Trump has said that he's going to resolve it, so we'll see what that meant, if that means anything. And if it doesn't, then we all know that this was all a big setup to spring on us the whole chaos that's going to be putting everybody in fear, because that's really what's going to happen. There's going to be so much fear. People are going to be calling out for, we need digital IDs. We need this surveillance. We need your smart cities, or your freedom cities, Trump. You promised us to bring us security in the golden age, even though it's an occult ideology there that he's promoting. Anybody that knows anything about the golden age, you'll know what it is an occult ideology. But here we go. Let's go over and check out some of this stuff here. So my thumbnail for today's video has to do with Trump being king. Now, that whole no kings movement, there's a reason why I guess they're saying king, no king, because Trump's been crowned king. Now, this is twice. This kind of reminds me of Revelation with the crowns. They give them their power to rule. He gives power to the 10 kings to rule for a period of time. This is why he's on a warp speed tour, granting powers of AI and investment and deals and, parceling out the land of Israel to the highest bidder and granting access and having control of all of the happenings there in Israel. That's just exactly like what Revelation and Daniel talks about. And then also with the rollout of AI into the Middle East and into Europe, Trump's overseeing all of that. Why is he doing this? Well, he's the Bitcoin president. We're the head of the technologies of AI for the whole world, right? Whoever gets, it's kind of like the nuclear race to the nuclear, first one to get the nuclear bomb wins, right? During World War II. The same thing is going on with AI. So Trump believes that this is going to empower his presidency and or his continued presidency, because Steve Bannon, I think he's one of the big insiders into the Trump presidency, going back to 2016. He's a very deep insider. He said that Trump is going to have a third term. No questions about it. They're setting it up right now. And everything is already clearly explained and will be explained to the public. And I think it all has to do with Trump's statements recently about how the election was stolen. He's been making these little statements in the last few days about how the election was stolen, and all the evidence is now coming out. Prosecutions need to be, levied out to all those that were immune. All the immunities that Biden had given are now going to be rescinded, are going to be null and void, and they're going to prosecute and bring these people to justice because they were behind the whole reason for why Trump didn't get elected in 2020. And also all the terrible things that went on during the first administration. He's going to say, well, I get 2 terms now because of that. So because of all this terrible thing that's been happening, you're going to let me. What I think he's going to do is he's going to threaten them all of the powers that former be that are still in our country. He's going to probably threaten them and say, hey, I'll prosecute you and put you all in jail if you don't go along with what I'm going to do. So you allow me to have a third term and you go along with my agenda and you promote everything. Just like Hillary's been singing the praises of Trump. Have you heard that recently? She's saying Trump did a great job and Trump's doing great. He got the hostages back. Hooray for Trump. I give him props. She's like his cheerleader all of a sudden because maybe she's afraid and he's going to put her in jail and her husband. But who knows? The Lebanese army is now moving reinforcements into the area. And I copied this from an Islamic channel, Occupation. I just put Israeli force. I should just put Israeli forces. Israeli forces are moving into Lebanon, and this is another extension of, I think, what they want to accomplish not only in Lebanon but also in Gaza. They are bombing Gaza into oblivion again, once again. And it says here that this just happened in the last hour. They're advancing into within 1 kilometer into the Lebanese town of Bilda in the last few minutes. So there's a definite war coming down with government forces. We're talking about Lebanese army now. We're not talking about Hezbollah. We're talking about the Lebanese army. This is now going to government forces inside of Lebanon. This is a pretty big escalation, I would say. So that's ongoing, and obviously they've been bombing Gaza, and we haven't been hearing anything about that probably in our media. They keep all that away from us, I'm sure. Iran's nuclear program is back online. This is a lot of the messaging now coming out of Israel in preparation for what? Another strike by the U.S.? Or is Israel going to actually do their dirty work this time? Probably not. But this is all part of Trump flexing his muscles, I'm sure, trying to show the world that he's boss, that he's the king. He's the king undisputed. It just reminds me of that Lion King. Remember that? Be prepared. That was Scarface, where he wanted to be the king, and he basically became king of the tribe. But that's just what it reminds me of. I don't know if you remember that Lion King, but Iran bound Chinese shipments of sodium perchlorate, a key ingredient in ballistic missile fuel, have ramped up in recent weeks, according to European intelligence sources. So this is another thing that Israel's really talking about, and a lot of things that are being messaged in our media, is that they are getting close to receiving the bomb. Once again, they're getting close to getting a nuke. They have all the tools now. They have all the resources. They're rebuilding everything very quickly. They're back on track. And they're very close now, again, to getting the bomb. After we almost completely destroyed their whole setup, now they're really close back to doing it again? How could that be? I thought we completely decimated it. I thought it was completely stopped in its tracks. There's no way that it could rebuild and regroup that quick. That's almost impossible. But yeah, it is. It's back. Israel is now saying that Iran is restoring its missile program with the help of China, despite the renewal of UN sanctions meant to prevent this. In the past month, since the snapback mechanism was renewed, several ships from China carrying sodium perchlorate, the critical chemical needed to build solid fuel missile components, I guess, needed for solid fuel missile development, have arrived at their airports, right? Israel forces claim that Iran still has a strong motive for revenge and is advancing plans to carry out attacks against Israeli interests. So that should be popping off probably about this time that everything goes into chaos here at home. Maybe. At least what's going on in Ukraine is developing hugely. You see what's going on in Ukraine, how the Russians are going and making all these advances. And I mean, they've surrounded a whole bunch of Ukrainian troops. I think I don't know if they've taken them captive or they're just killing them off. They're not playing games anymore. They're not making any more deals. They're not giving in to Trump's 3D chess moves anymore. They're just going in and they're going to just break things and take territory and make war. That's what they're doing. They've already made it very clear that's what they're going to do. So Trump said today The United States has more nuclear weapons than any other country. Well, let's just boast about how many nuclear weapons. How many times can we blow up the planet with all of our nuclear weapons? How many times, Trump? Tell us. Refresh our mind. How many times can the whole planet be destroyed with our nukes, Trump? This was accomplished, more nuclear weapons than any other country in the world, including a complete update and renovation of existing weapons during my first term in office. Because of the tremendous destructive power, I hated to do it. I just hate to do this. But you're just going to have it happen if you keep doing what you're doing. If you don't let me be king, I guess I'm going to have to just destroy the whole world. I hated to do it, but I had no choice. I just hate to do this. Russia is second. They're second behind us. And China is a distant third. But we will be even within 5 years. It doesn't matter how many missiles we have to destroy the Earth, like how many different times. They can destroy it like maybe once, and we can destroy it maybe 3 times. The Russians can only destroy it like twice. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It matters. What really matters is the strategy. Whether or not they catch you unaware or if they stealthily attack you. The first one that takes the first punch is usually the one that really is going to end up winning. And if you've ever watched MMA, mixed martial arts, sometimes it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter like the technique or the power or the size or even the strength. If the person gets the first punch off and is quick and it actually connects, that could be the end of the fight. One punch. That's all it takes. Or one miscalculation where you get yourself entangled in a body part that's in a compromised position where you get an arm bar where that guy can break your arm in a second. You tap out because you know your arm's going to be broken if you don't tap out. So you tap out because you made a mistake. It doesn't matter how powerful you are. It doesn't matter how much technique you have or what you think you are. As Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until they're punched in the jaw. Then your plans turn into little birds flying around your head. And you're seeing lights. And that's all you see is a bunch of mushroom clouds. So it says, this was accomplished, including a complete update and renovation of existing weapons during my first term in office. Because of the tremendous destructive power, I hated to do it, but I had no choice. Russia is second. China is a distant third. But we will be even within 5 years. But we'll be even within 5 years, talking about China. Now, he talked to Xi Jinping today. Did you see that? I'm going to show you the video on that. He had a little conversation, a little chat with Xi. They look like they were buddies. Oh, they just love each other. They just made pomp and ceremony, got together and stood in front of the world and showed each other how much they love each other. And there's not going to be war. Because of other countries' testing programs, I have instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. That process will begin immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Thank you for your attention to this matter. He sounds like the tour guide Barbie. This is tour guide Barbie. Thank you for attention to this matter. Keep your arms and hands in as we drive on the ride. Breaking. Trump orders the Department of War to start nuclear weapons test to match China's and Russia's nuclear capabilities. Stern countenance. Oh, the Bible says he has a stern countenance. So mean. So scary. Look at that. Scary. Do you remember during COVID how they said the hospitals were overwhelmed and they were just like swamped. They couldn't even get a breath, but yet they had enough time to sit there and dance. All those nurses and doctors doing their little dances, remember that? How did that happen? I have no idea. But anyways, we're gonna look at this video here in a second. This is about the AI. Trump and his fellow self-appointed world leaders smile and laugh as they tell us how they plan to implement a worldwide super surveillance state and open-air prison camps for everybody. They say this in their own words. This is not AI speaking here. This is not just made-up videos. These are them speaking about what they plan to do with AI and with you and I. This is what they plan to do with you and I, using AI. And it's not a utopia. And it's not a golden age. It's a golden age for them, but not for you and me. This golden age he's talking about is for them. And he's not one of you. If you think that Trump is one of you, he's one of us. Oh, yeah, he's a billionaire, but he's one of us. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. The golden age is for all the elites who think that they're elites. Really, they're not really elites. They're going to find out there is a God in heaven very soon. And their little holes in the bunkers, their deep underground military. That's why they call them dumbs, because anybody that goes down there is dumb. Deep underground military bunker, they're dumb. They go down into the dumbs. The Bible says that they hide themselves in holes in the earth and under the mountains, trying to hide from him who sits upon the throne. It's not going to work. Sorry. You know where you can hide from the Most High. This is the great tribulation and the persecution of the saints. Oh, by the way, did you see all the people dying in Sudan? It's just, you can see it from space. Literally from satellite, they were showing pictures of blood stains all over the ground and the troops that are surrounding all these blood stains all throughout these areas in Sudan. There's just people dying by the hundreds of millions of people are being killed. And they're doing it to Christians. They're doing it to other tribes, but mostly Christians. This is what the Bible says would happen, the big persecution of saints in the latter day. It says that the persecution of the saints come in as we see the fifth seal of Revelation. Let's take a look at some of these videos. This woman's crazy. She gives me the creeps. All right, let me pull this up here really quick here. Hold on. Come on, what did I do here? Okay, there we go. All right, so this is I forgot what her name is. Anyways, let's take a look at this.
The digital euro is on the move.
This is ID cards by the back door, isn't it?
Look, I was then, I remain even more convinced today, particularly with biometric technology, the world will move to biometric ID, and they'll do it because in the end it's better for people.
We will finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately.
We're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior.
And what it means for what government should do in terms of its digital infrastructure, digital ID, data centers, and so on.
The first thing a country needs to do is to unify all of their data so it can be consumed and used by the AI model.
This is where technology, like digital ID, becomes critical.
So that we can eventually, not put to bed, but put to reality this digital euro. The deadline for us is going to be October of 25.
The technology and the digital infrastructure, I just want to emphasize how important I think that is. Because in the end, you need the data. You need to know who's been vaccinated and who hasn't been. Some of the vaccines that will come on down the line will be multiple. There'll be multiple shots.
Cash or digital, the choice will be yours.
Yes, and if you don't go along with our program, you don't worship the beast, and you don't submit to the digital image of the beast, you will be smoke in the smokestack. We'll just tell you you're taking showers just to get clean in your little freedom cities. Your little freedom cities that we're going to herd you into will have digital smokestacks. And people will just wonder, what's all that digital smoke coming out of the digital smokestack? Well, that was the digital person that was in room 532 in the smart city. He's just been vaporized. Yeah. The digital prison. They're going to be calling them freedom cities, according to Trump. Trump calls them freedom cities. They're basically called smart cities because they're AI driven, they're AI controlled, they're AI surveilled, they're AI verified. Everybody that's in them is basically a cyborg. You have had to have merged with the technology to make everything convenient and move smoothly. Yep. Kind of reminds me of I always think about my kids' movies because there's a movie I don't know if you've ever seen it called B Movie. The B Movie. Remember where the bees, where in the beginning of the movie he's walking out and everything is just perfect. Everything is just moving because, you know, the beehive is so perfectly timed and tuned. And he kind of wonders, like, why is everything so perfectly tuned? Let's see if I can find it here. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, here it is.
Hey, Artie, growing a mustache?
Yeah, I guess he could have just gotten out of the way.
Let's see if I can find that one spot. Anyway, he's sitting there and he's wondering because everything is so perfectly, you know how the bees are always in complete, it's called the hive mind, the hive mentality. And that's really what it is. It's they're creating a hive mentality via the technology. And they want you to fit into that hive mentality. They're programming everybody. So that's where it's at. Let's see what else we got here. I guess I could keep on going this. This is interesting. Let's just finish this. It says, this is the great tribulation and persecution of the saints coming, as we see in the fifth seal of Revelation. Things are about to get much, much worse. Christians that have believed the false pre-trib Darby doctrine, or the Schofield Bible notes. It's only been about the last 200 or so years or so. That's mostly evangelical, eschatological beliefs that have been added as an addition. It's not really anything that was believed for the last almost 2,000 years. Christians and their beliefs were never even close to this. It's just been recent in preparation for the reestablishment of the state of the tribe that we call modern day Israel, as we know. And that was all in preparation by the Rothschilds, by the big names like, well, Rothschilds is the one that was behind the reestablishment of this whole state. But they were the ones that funded the Darby translation. And also were very influential in the Schofield notes that gave this whole idea about Zionism to the Christian world. And this is why Christians are blind to what's really going on. And they think it's God, but it's really a part of that great delusion of the last days. So hopefully, you know, if you're a person that really studies your scriptures, you're going to understand that you shouldn't be falling into this. But there's going to be very few that get this. And I think that's just what scripture predicts anyway. But it says, Christians have believed the false pre-trib doctrine, Darby, and received another gospel, another Jesus, another dabbed in new age doctrines, another Jesus, or dabbled in new age doctrines. They will fall away from the faith, as many have not prepared themselves for the trials that are currently coming upon the earth. They do not have the oil in their lamps. This is why we have warned for many years, and the warnings have fallen primarily on deaf ears. The scoffers and mockers are a dime a dozen. The remnant truly is small compared to those on the wide path to destruction. Repent and turn to Jesus now with a meek and contrite heart before it's too late. Well, that's great, honey. You did a great job. You wrote that? That was great. I like that. Awesome. We're on the same page. So here we go. Breaking revealed. Pentagon has ordered the National Guard to create quick reaction forces in every state and territory by January that are trained and equipped to respond to riots and civil unrest within the United States. Wow. I wonder why. I wonder why there's so much unrest going on and chaos. Oh, maybe it's because Trump is called by one of his great supporters, Lance Walnew, who is Kingdom Now theology extraordinaire, Seven Mountain Mandate man, and best friend to Kim Clement. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it doesn't matter. Just ignore what I'm saying now. But he called Trump in his book, The Chaos Candidate, in 2016. And that was a beloved term. He liked that. That's a good thing. He's here to bring chaos. Another will come in his own name, and him you will receive. That goes for a lot of Christians too, because they're not ready. And they're looking for a savior on this earth. And they're going to find that savior. He's going to present himself to them and let them ride the power of his government. That's exactly what's going on. This deadline has been moved up to January 1st, as previously reports showed that it was requiring readiness by April. Yeah, and I was always wondering, now April sounds way too far out. It's got to be a lot sooner. It's got to be like in December or January. There's no way it's going to be way out there in April. There's too much chaos. It's already about to hit the fan. They have to have this up and running sooner than that. And sure enough, here we go. My wife finds she's got the sauce right here. This is it. I hope you're all ready. State of emergency has been declared across many states concerning food stamps, EBT benefits, as millions of Americans will be without food and starving by November 1st. I hope you got locks on your doors. I mean, I'm seeing videos where they're talking about going into people's homes, stealing their food. Are stores going to even be open? I mean, is it going to be that bad where there's going to be like, see what happens? You have to understand when the riot ball, have you ever heard the saying that a mob has its own mentality? It's like a collective consciousness that takes over, and the mob works as one. Like it has its own kind of, it kind of reminds me of that whole theory. I guess they call it a theory, the 100 monkey syndrome, the 100th monkey syndrome. Have you ever heard of that? The 100th monkey syndrome? Well, basically what the 100th monkey syndrome states, or the theory, the 100th monkey theory is a popular concept though scientifically unsupported. Now, this is they say it's unsupported, but there's people that say that it's legit, suggesting that when a critical number of individuals in a group adopt a new behavior or an idea, it spreads spontaneously to the entire population, even across geographical distances. The theory originated from a research on macaque monkeys in Japan who learned to wash sweet potatoes. They were on one island, supposedly, and there was monkeys on another island. And once they started all learning how to wash sweet potatoes on one island, miraculously, all the monkeys on the other island figured it out as well. That's why they call it the 100 monkey syndrome. So what I'm saying is that when people start getting this idea, hey, rioting is how we're going to supply our needs. Plus, we need to get back at the man. We got a lot of frustration. We got all kinds of debt. We got all these degrees and we can't actually get a job, and we've been lied to, and our history is wrong, and our leaders are corrupt, and even Trump let me down, and nothing is happening the way it should. So we deserve this. Let's just go out and riot. That's what's going to happen. People are going to justify what they're doing. And they're going to do it thinking that they're doing God's service. Like, this is God. This is a patriotic thing to do. to tear down infrastructure and go out and get what we deserve, what is ours. And in the process, everybody's going to suffer because they want the pain to be spread very evenly, right? They want the people in the suburbs to suffer. And by the way, the people in the suburbs are already going to be suffering anyway because they don't have no more money either. It's going to be the people in the high-end areas. They're going to probably, eventually they're going to be looking at, but I mean, I've seen things on video where they're talking about going in and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you what they're saying. And this is just something that's been going on here. Let's take a look at these visuals here. These are some of the states of emergency that are being declared. Rhode Island. This one's Governor Youngkin declared a state of emergency, and that's where's Youngkin at? Let's see if we got some other ones. Governor McKee declares state of emergency to help SNAP benefit recipients. Not sure where he's at. Blackfeet Tribal Business Council declares state of emergency due to SNAP funding issues. Delaware declares state of emergency to allow state funding for SNAP recipients. Rhode Island. And we've also seen cities declaring states of emergency. City not too far from where I'm at, I think it's Spokane, has declared a state of emergency. Louisiana declares a state of emergency over looming SNAP benefits pause. Why doesn't Governor Beshear declare a state of emergency to provide SNAP? And some are just like, whoops. Ooh, that's probably why right there. Look at that. Scary. Ooh, I got chills. Goosebumps. Ooh. Don't look at me like that. Let's see what else we got. State of emergency. Emergency. Now, this is another interesting thing. Remember the 5th of November. Remember the 5th of November. Don't you remember what happened on the 5th of November? The gunpowder, the treason, and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. I guess there was, this was based on a true story in Britain, I guess, when the people rose up, and this is why they have those funny looking masks. If you ever see those funny looking smiley masks, usually it's in reference to Anonymous, the group Anonymous. They always talk about V for Vendetta. That's the movie, by the way, V for Vendetta. And the movie kind of reveals what historically took place on November 5th. I'm not exactly sure what year it was, but they blew up kind of what would be equivalent to our, White House type thing, where they blew up the, I don't know, where the Brits would hold their, their government offices and everything. And some guy orchestrated this, I guess. And a lot of the people rose up and considered him to be a hero because he supposedly. Now, I think that the actual plot was thwarted. From what I understand, wasn't it thwarted, the actual plot itself in history? But the movie, it shows how he succeeds and he destroys everything. Let me just do a real quick search on that. Remember the 5th of November. Okay, so it says, remember the 5th refers to the 5th of November in 1605, the date of the gunpowder plot in England, which is commemorated each year with the saying, remember the 5th of November. The plot involved a group of Roman Catholics attempting to assassinate King James I and blow up the House of Lords. The tradition is now widely known as Guy Fawkes Night. or Bonfire Night, celebrated with bonfires, fireworks, and the burning of effigies of Guy Fawkes. And then it goes on. The video. This video explains the gunpowder plot, and they're okay. So basically, that's kind of what happened. And I'm not sure if this is actually. Don't they have like a wiki on this? I guess they don't, huh? So it says here that an anonymous letter warned a member of parliament, and a search of the cellars beneath the House of Lords revealed 36 barrels of gunpowder on the night of November 4th, 1605. So they did thwart it. But the movie shows that they actually did it. Guy Fawkes was discovered. His last name is Fawkes, Fawkes. And he was discovered guarding the gunpowder and was arrested. The plotters were punished, and November 5th became a day for public celebration of the king's survival. 65 barrels of gunpowder. Wow. Can you imagine if that would have blown up? Or no, it was 36 barrels. I'm sorry, 36 barrels. That's still a huge amount of gunpowder. The saying, the famous rhyme, remember, remember the 5th of November. Now, by the way, 5th of November is when they're planning all of these riots in America. Hello? Just saying. What else we got here? Now, the Trump officials in charge of the food aid are leaving their posts. They're leaving their posts? Really? The departure of the head of the Agriculture Department's Food and Nutrition Service and a senior policy advisor spurred worries on Capitol Hill as food aid benefits could halt. I guess they're what? They're leaving? Are they resigning? What's going on here? What does it say here? Oh, you gotta subscribe in order to do this? Come on. I hate these sites that make you subscribe in order to read their articles. So what happens? You just go to the archive section and you can read it. I love the archive. So here it goes. It says two Trump administration officials in charge of food aid are leaving their posts amid the government shutdown as the program that funds food stamps is set to collapse. Or is set to lapse. It says set to lapse. It's set to lapse and collapse. James Miller, the administrator of the Agriculture's Department Food and Nutrition Service, and Babs Ho. What kind of a name is that? Babs Ho. The senior policy advisor, Babs Ho, is a senior policy advisor there. They are moving to the Department of Health and Human Services, according to senior White House official. It says Politico reporter earlier on the moves, which raised concern among aides on Capitol Hill who are already bracing for the pain the government shutdown will inflict on their constituents. With Mr. Miller's departure, the agency will be without a permanent leader at a chaotic time. You know, I have to tell you, I think Trump is doing all this on purpose. This is all part of gutting and using AI to take over everything. Did you see how many people are getting fired? I got to show you this. Look at this. Tell me what you think. I want you to look at this list. Look at this list right here. These are people, and these are all people, but look at how many people are being replaced with AI, because the AI is taking over right now. You know that, right? The reason why people are talking about this so much right now is because it's happening right now. The reason why all these things are happening around the world is because this is happening right now. Trump and the world instinctively knows, people that are in places of power know what is happening. And there are a few people that are controlling this. They have the levers of power by having, like I said, AI is like a nuke. Whoever gets the nuke first can then begin to threaten everybody else into submission. And AI has that power. In fact, it's got more power probably than nuclear weapons. And look at what is happening with all these employees losing their jobs. Look, 48,000 employees are going to be laid off from UPS. Amazon, AI is taking over. AI is taking over. Amazon up to 30,000 employees. Intel 24,000. Nestle 16,000. And these are just the big companies, Ford 11,000. These are just companies that you all would know, but think about all the other companies in between. It's just happening across the board. I mean, you're talking about agriculture. They've got robotic pickers now. They don't need Mexican pickers. They can make these machines, and the government can subsidize a lot of this too, but the government's taking over agriculture anyway because it's been choking out the average farmer for a long time. They've been buying up and gobbling up all kinds of land. And all they got to do is just get these new robotic pickers in there 24/7. And you don't have all the cost. Everything is just automated. It does it better. It does it quicker. It does it probably during the rain and, all throughout the night. It could do it blind. It's all set up electronically and digitally and through satellite. It probably tracks all the tracks and where it's supposed to go. Have you seen these digital crop pickers? I mean, they can do it for anything. Trees, nuts, fruit, vegetables. I mean, and they're doing it with anything that's in manufacturing. They can do it with robotics now. Everything is automated. They're getting rid of. I mean, I even heard Dollar Tree is going to be totally, completely automated now, where you just walk in and you don't even need a cashier. You just take what you're going to pick. Cameras are watching every little thing and chronicling what you take, and basically charge you on their way out. It just automatically debits you. It knows who you are, facial recognition. It catalogs your account. Your account is attached to you biometrically, and you don't even need to. You just pick what you want off the shelf and walk out. I mean, we were showing these videos at least 8 or 10 years ago, where they were showing what was coming in the future, where people would just walk into the store. Did you ever see that commercial? There's a commercial where it has to be at least 8 years old. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find that video. I'll know it when I see it because I remember exactly what it looked like. It was an old school video and it was probably 8 or 10 years ago, where it shows the future of stores. And there's so many new videos out now, it's probably buried. But this was about an 8 or 10-year-old video where the guy walks in and he's got a couple of security guards looking at him really suspiciously, and he's taking stuff, and out of the coolers, and he's picking up things that he wants to buy, and then he goes toward the cashier, and he just walks right by the cashier out the door, and the security guard follows him. Hey, you think he's going to get arrested because he didn't pay, right? And he turns around, and the security guard, you forgot something, and it was his receipt. Gives him a receipt. And it's like, hey, you don't even have to pay. You don't have to have nobody check you out. You just walk in and walk out. It'll automatically debit you. you know, all the stuff right now is about the chaos that's coming. Like if you look in here, I mean, all the new technologies are out now. I'm telling you, it's how long can you live in Walmart? What this guy, what did he do? He hung out here and hid and slept overnight. You got to be kidding me. And he made a little place to live. You got to be kidding. What? And then he took food to eat so he could live? Oh my gosh. Did you see that guy? Look at that guy. This guy's inside a Walmart. He's hiding and he's eating food and he stays overnight and pretends like he's an employee. And he made a video about it. I wonder if he got arrested. $3.7 million or 3.7 million views. It says, pretending like I worked at the Walmart, and once the store opened at 7 a.m. in the morning the next day, I walked out and realized, let me see.
Pretending like I worked at...
I walked out and realized what? I gotta see this. Hold on.
The Walmart. And once the store opened at 7 in the morning the next day, I walked out and realized that the police were there for me. And they took me into custody. I tried dumber stuff here.
He got busted. What a dummy. Anyways, I don't know where that video is. It's probably long gone. It's such an old video that it's probably been buried by all the new stuff now. But anyways, let's go back to what we were doing. Let's see what else we got here. I like talking like Trump. What else we got here? We got more golden idols, more NFTs, and more products to sell. I got another ShamWow. Another ShamWow product to monetize my presidency. All right, so it says Democrats are preparing. I know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Democrats are preparing to surround the White House with millions of protesters on November 5th, demanding Trump's removal from power. So remember the 5th of November, right? They're going to be doing this on the 5th of November. This is all coordinated as it falls on Guy Fawkes Day and harkens back to the poem of the movie V for Vendetta, where the famous line is said, remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder, the treason, and the plot. In the movie, many British citizens wear a Guy Fawkes mask and protest the fascist regime. How many people are going to be out there with this mask on? I'll bet you're going to see a bunch of people out there at the White House with that mask on. They're probably going to buy masks. Soros is going to pay for 1 million of those masks. Wouldn't that be just like what they would do? So it says, in the near future, Britain is ruled by the far-right, ultra-nationalist political party, a brutal fascist and totalitarian regime, led by High Chancellor Adam Salter, which controls the populace through propaganda and imprisons or executes those deemed undesirable, including immigrants, homosexuals, and people of alternative religions. Also worth noting is that there is a deadly fake virus, and draconian measures that lock people down in society as a means to control the population in the film. Well, that sounds very eerily similar to what happened under Trump. But it wasn't Trump's fault. It wasn't Trump's fault. He had no knowledge of what was coming. But many people said that it seemed like he knew because he had all these things that he did in 2017 that kind of prepared for COVID. It was really weird, some of the legislation that he kind of pushed through, as if it almost was pre-known. But anyways, you can look into that and do some research on that. Huge anti-Trump protest is planned on 5th of November. Look at this. So this is a video, I guess, that's out. It says, They're going to surround the White House, surround the Capitol, surround the illegitimate fascist-packed Supreme Court, come back again and again across the country, refuse to comply. Every person of conscience, millions of us together, grind the machinery of the fascist regime to a halt, unquote. Can you believe this? This is crazy. Oh, I got to see this video. I have not seen this.
November.
Let's see what they're saying here. This is just to know this. Like I said, I don't agree with any of this. I don't agree with the protests. I don't agree with protests on either side. I just don't find anything that, you know, fascinates me with government. What am I doing here? You know, government itself just, like, I'm not political. I am not in either way. Don't put me in a little box and say that I'm right or left. I am not in any way advocating for government right now, okay? This is just my observations according to what I know to be truth, okay? Whatever side it falls on, I acknowledge what I believe to be the higher truth that goes even farther beyond that, but I understand basic truth. And truth is not political. So here we go. Let's take a look at this. Up in here, sorry. Here we go.
November 5th, the 1-year anniversary of Trump's election. The fall of the Trump regime. November 5th, flood D.C. in non-violent protest. Surrounds the White House. Surrounds the Capitol. Surround the illegitimate, fascist-packed Supreme Court. Come back again and again. Across the country, refuse to comply. This is our only chance to actually remove, to drive out this regime from power. November 5th must be the beginning of the biggest, most determined, nonviolent mass mobilization and assembly in the Capitol in American history. Take this up. Make history.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Wow. Trump has likened himself to a king. South Korea gave him a crown. So you want to wear a crown? President Trump received a replica of a golden crown excavated from an ancient royal tomb in Gyeongju. He called it very special. It's very special. Very special. Never before seen. Once in a lifetime. I'm the only one that can wear this. Here is the crown. I actually have a picture of it on the thumbnail too. You can see it on the thumbnail of this video. But it's a golden crown, and he also got a crimson I don't know what that is. Some kind of an award, I guess. Can't see that, but that's right there. Right there on the left there. Right there. So it says fuming SNAP recipients threaten to loot if food stamps are cut. November 1st. They say, stay the F out of my way. Benefits are set to be cut off November 1st after Democrats voted for the 13th consecutive time to keep the federal government closed Tuesday. The Senate, which needs 60 votes for the government funding measure to pass, rejected the GOP-backed bill, with a 54 to 45 vote. An announcement went out via text last week to SNAP beneficiaries, warning them of the imminent pause in the program, prompting a flood of videos angrily denouncing the move. A flood of food videos. I'm gonna tell y'all straight up like this. I got that text that the link is definitely cut the F off for November. Y'all better stay out of my way in these stores because I'm walking out with carts and I'm not paying for anything. One angry SNAP recipient fumed on TikTok. Another added, you know what? Since they want to take food stamps away, I'm going to Walmart, grabbing anything I dang want and put that right in my basket, and I'm going to and there's a lot of expletives I'm cutting out of here. And I'm going to walk right up to that checkout center, and I'm not paying for a thing. Said another one. I'm cleaning up this post. This is the Trump golden age. The purge, mass chaos, unrest about to unfold across many cities across the country. And what's he busy doing? Getting a golden crown from South Korea, announcing him the king of the world and ushering in peace. Now, I heard he hung out with Xi Jinping too. So he had a little hangout with Xi Jinping. Did you see that? I gotta show you this. Let's go back and check this out here. Let's see if I can find this here. Do I have this still? Yeah, I do. Hold on. So let's take a look at this. Xi Jinping gathering of Trump with Xi Jinping. Let's take a look. Let's see here. We already saw that. And this is the Xi Jinping one. Xi Jinping. Let's look at Trump. Now just look at the body language. You gotta really look at the body language. So President Trump meets and shakes hands with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Busan, South Korea. I'm surprised that Xi Jinping was there, but he was. So here it is. Check out the body language. Pay close attention for those who are students of body language.
Hello, everyone.
Mr. President, the President of the People's Republic of China.
Good to meet you. Great pleasure to see you again. Good to see you again. Me too. And we're going to have a very successful meeting, I have no doubt. But he's a very tough negotiator. That's not good. We know each other well.
Mr. President, do you plan to sign a trade deal today?
Could be. I think we'll have a great understanding. We have a great relationship. We've always had a great relationship.
Will you discuss Taiwan, sir?
Which way? Thank you very much, everyone. Please.
Wait.
He's a flatterer. He uses flattery, and that's exactly what the Bible says would be one of the characteristics of that end time leader. I'm telling you, he checks off a lot of things. Check Trump, check this, check that, check this. this is in accordance, this is in accordance, this is in parallel, I can't believe how many things check off prophetic timeline of end time leader. People are saying, well, maybe he's the forerunner. Maybe he's just the forerunner and he's just setting it all up. No, you're blind. And anybody that says that is completely clueless and is not hearing from God. All right? I'm just going to say that right out because it's pretty darn clear to me. I don't know how much clearer you can get. I don't know how much clearer you need it to be. Seriously. I mean, if you can't see it now, and we were saying it when hardly anybody was saying it. People were leaving and thinking we were crazy. And now everybody's on board. Now everybody sees it. Now everybody knows, hey, there's something that looks at least like it looks like he's part of it. So that's kind of where things are at now. All right, let's go back to our Telegram page here. And we're getting closer to the end. The end of all things. The end of the broadcast here. Federal Reserve cuts interest rates by 25 BPS. Base points. What is that? What does it stand for? 25 what? What does BPS stand for? Isn't that right? BPS? Let me see what does it stand for. By 0.25 percentage points, right? Okay, so BPS in interest rates means, yeah, basis points. That's what I thought. Basis points. Yeah. Okay. $300 million were liquidated from crypto market. From the crypto market in the past 15 minutes as Fed Chairman Jerome Powell delivers FOMC speech. And AWS and a lot of other sites were down earlier this morning. Widespread outages once again. And we had our scripture reading, devotional, if you missed it. The first part of it, I was trying to read something and it didn't go too well, so just kind of skip that part and get to the good stuff if you want to go check it out. It is the devotional and scripture reading that we did, and we try to do daily, but sometimes I miss. But if you want to be a part of that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It is BP Ministries channel. BP Ministries. Same logo, except it's a light teal colored blue. And make sure you're part of that, because it's good. You'll be edified. You'll feel better. Your day will go better. You will feel as if maybe God does have a plan. He'll definitely speak more clearly to you. And you'll start seeing things are definitely orchestrated. Whether or not you really want to be committed and all the way go all the way with God, I mean, he'll still speak to you on the way. Whether on the way to making your ultimate choice, because everybody has an ultimate choice. But as time goes on, you start to realize whether or not you're going to go all the way. Make the ultimate commitment, right? And so I hope all you do. I hope you all do make the ultimate commitment, because it's the only way. Jesus said it very clearly. I am the way. I am the only way. I am the truth. I am the only truth. And I am the life. The only life. No man comes to God, the Most High, the creator of all things, the Father, unless he comes through me. You can't go through Confucius. You can't go through Muhammad. You can't go through any other spirit or any other power or any other guide, whatever alien technology, you can't get to God except through him. He is the only way, the door that leads to life. That few be that find. And if you want to be going through the narrow gate, that few be that find, then you need to get on. You need to get deep into the scripture and trust and apply those truths. And he said, anybody that loves me is going to keep my commands. So what is his commands? It's all throughout the New Testament. And it encompasses everything that the Old Testament was predicting anyway. So it's just a fulfillment. But there's so much, spiritual food there you could feast on for the rest of your life. You could have you could have 100, 1,000, 1 million lives, and you still wouldn't be able to plumb the depths. So don't put God in a box. I need to talk to some people that are cerebral, because they have this idea of they need empirical evidence to believe, and God, will in some way condescend and reveal certain things that people need to know empirically to get their faith to a point, because you can't understand the Creator because you're a part of the creation. So for you to figure out who and what the Creator is, unless God opens your heart and mind to see certain things, which he sometimes does, but he's not going to give you, you're not going to become God. The only way you can really ever know something like that is if you were God himself, right? How did he make the earth? How did he make the heavens? How did he do all this? You don't know. Just go back to the book of Job. Remember when God was telling Job, were you there when I did this? Were you there when I laid the foundation? Were you there when I put the stars in the heaven? Do you understand everything, Job? I mean, you're questioning me like as if you're God, and you're not. So, put your brain back in a place where God can open it, and stop trying to outthink God, because you can never outthink God. The AI outthinks you already. So, and that's not God. Can you imagine what God can actually do? My goodness, we have. What is this? U.S. military ships are spotted in Puerto Rico. The U.S. waters TAGS-45 used for submarine navigation system testing and ballistic missile flight test support. Oh, this is probably his nuclear test that he's going to do. Trump's going to do a nuclear test probably right there off the coast of Venezuela. What do you think? It says, and the MV Ocean Trader, a converted Special Operations Command Center and mothership, were sighted today at the port of Ponce in southern Puerto Rico. Both vessels are operated by the U.S. Military Sealift Command, MSC, and their simultaneous presence is unusual, sparking speculation about a classified or coordinated regional operation. Observers note the location's proximity to the key Caribbean sea lanes and ongoing U.S. maritime security efforts in the region. I wonder if they're going to do a test out there. Probably not, no. You never know, though. Trump is full of surprises. Anyways, guys, I think we're almost done. I think that's it. I'm kind of tired. I've been tired all day. Not all day, but just, oops. I've been tired since I got done working. Hopefully I gave a good presentation of what's going on here. I didn't sound too sleepy. Am I okay? Did I do all right, guys? Where is my chat room here? Where are we? Let me find my room here. Hold on, guys. So I can see what you're doing here. There's a lot of other things we could talk about, but I think I'm just going to call it at night. There we go. All right, guys. I see you in here. All right, Scott Guthrie. You just missed it. What are you talking about, Scott? CSE drivers. You're going to have to go back and rewind. I know that you don't ever sleep anyway, so you've got lots of time. Scott is one of the insomniacs that watches us late at night. Thank you, Prism. The Watchman is in the house and 7 Patterns. What's going on? Scott, let's see. Arnold Schmidt always has a check-in number. What was your check-in number today, Arnold? Belinda and Stephen May. A-Dub, what's happening, man? You just woke up? I did great. Thank you, Renee. God bless. Thank you so much. And all the supporters out there, the mods, and everyone else in between. Pamela Johnson, good night. God bless you all. Have a great afternoon, great evening, and a great morning. How did he say it? A good morning, a good afternoon, and a good evening if I don't see you. That was Truman from the Truman Show. Because it does feel like everything's like scripted, doesn't it? And here's my Uline coffee mug. Everything is a soundbite and a monetized product in our reality TV show. Is this a reality TV show? Okay, Angela Curran, God bless you too. Molly, I would play music, but I just don't want to put any, a lot of people have music, and I used to do music because music always kind of adds a little flair to what you're doing. But because music is so copyrighted all over, we need the revenue. We don't want to share revenue. We don't want to give away our monetization. So we don't play music. I could make AI music, but I don't want to do that. It's just, I don't know. Unless somebody knows how to make music, and we get special rights, I'm not going to put it on there. All right, guys. God bless. Stephen May, God bless. We'll see you guys soon. I'll play some music on the way out in my own humming tune. Do 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 do.